Here's the news at 5. First, the top stories. Complaints trail allocation of shops in Ogun State shopping mall in Abeokuta. Presidency finalizes arrangement on whistleblowers to detect illicit arms. Police send bill seeking deduction from state budget to National Assembly. Special account set up to monitor loot recovered by federal agencies. On the foreign scene, Ghana, Malawi, Kenya to receive first malaria vaccine, and fringe parties candidate lead in French presidential poll. I am Femi Osinuga, bringing you the news in detail shortly. Complaints from allottees have trailed the allocation of shops in the Ogun State new shopping malls in Abeokuta, the state capital, commissioned last month by Governor Ibukile Amosun. The aggrieved traders include those allocated shops in the malls at Shapon and Itoku markets. Disturbed by the complaints of the allottees, the state government has asked those not satisfied with the allocation process for the shops to quit the malls. As a result of the unresolved complaints, traders allocated shops in both Shapon and Itoku malls are yet to move into their shops. Rock City FM's correspondent, Modinot Adeneko, have been investigating the complaints since the shopping malls were declared open by the governor last March 30, filed in a report. The Southwest governors have cancelled their meeting scheduled to hold today in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Senior Special Assistant to Governor Amosu on Media, Adejuwon Soyinka, in a statement says the meeting was cancelled to honor the late Director General of the Development Agenda for Western Nigeria, Dawn Commission, Mr. Dikpo Famakinwa, who died last Friday. The governors promised to come up with a future date for the meeting. Some of the issues expected to be discussed at the meeting was the security issue in Southwest region and promoting the social economy of the region. 2 persons have lost their lives and 7 others seriously injured in an auto crash at the Ijebu-Ode axis of the Lagos-Benin Expressway. The road crash involved a Volvo car with registration number SMK275CG and a Toyota Sienna SUV marked KRG 80CL. Both collided while trying to overtake each other on their way from Shagamu towards Ijebu-Ode. Spokesman of the Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps, TRACE, Commander Babatunde Akibiyi says the road crash occurred opposite Naira Land Oil and Gas, Odogbolu Junction near Ijebu-Ode. The 2 dead persons, both female, have been taken to the Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital, Shagamu, while those injured are receiving treatment at Babcock University Teaching Hospital, Ilishan. The presidency is working on a template for the adoption of the whistleblowing policy to detect illegal light arms and ammunition circulating nationwide. National Security Advisor, retired Major General Babagana Mungono, explains that the proposed whistleblowing mechanism being developed will address the ownership and control of guns in the country. The proposal, according to him, is being considered to curb mass shooting incidents in the country following the success recorded in the use of whistleblowing policy to recover stolen funds. Mungono says the proposal will assist in disarming communities which are prone to violence. The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has sent to the National Assembly a bill seeking the deduction of 1% from the total annual budget of 36 state governors to finance the police force. Deputy Inspector General of Police, in charge of finance and administration at the force headquarters, Shuaibu Gambo, made this known while addressing stakeholders in Makurdi, the Benue state capital. Gambo explains that the bill, if passed, will end the financial crisis facing the police force. The proposed deduction from the state government's budget, according to him, will be given directly to the force but will be administered by the state governors and a committee set up for the purpose. 2 top army generals have escaped the improvised explosive device planted by Boko Haram forces on the Bama-Goza road in Borno State. The senior officers, including the Army Chief of Administration, Major General Muhammad Al-Khali, and the Acting General Officer commanding the Army 7th Division, Brigadier General Victor Ezugu, were on an operational visit to frontline troops when the incident occurred. The generals were returning from a visit to the troops of the 26th Task Force Battalion and their convoy almost stepped on the 4 clusters of explosive buried at a crossing point along Banki Junction and Polka Road. Explosive Ordnance Device Team detected the buried explosive and safely detonated the explosives. Kano State Government is considering a law to compel intending couples in the state to undergo HIV screening before marriage. Intending couples will also be screened for sickle cell and hepatitis. Director General of Kano State Agency for the Control of AIDS, Dr. Bashir Usman, made this known while receiving members of ISBA board in his office. He says both his agency and the ISBA board are jointly drafting a bill to be sent to the State House of Assembly through the State Ministry of Health. You are still listening to the World News at 5 on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we bring you foreign, business, and sport news. Do stay with us. On the foreign scene, the world's first vaccine against malaria will be introduced in 3 countries, Ghana, Kenya, and Malawi, starting in 2018. The RTS vaccine trains the immune system to attack the malaria parasite, which is spread by mosquito bites. The World Health Organization (WHO) said the jab had the potential to save tens of thousands of lives. Ghana, Kenya, and Malawi were chosen because they already run large programs to tackle malaria, including the use of bed nets, yet still have high numbers of cases. The pilots are being funded by Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria, UNITAID, the WHO, and JSK. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has called for talks to resume with the opposition. He also said he wanted local elections to take place. His comments came as another large demonstration is planned after 3 weeks of tense protests across the country. Demonstrators have been calling for presidential elections due next year to be brought forward and for President Maduro to step down. Speaking during his Sunday TV program, Mr. Maduro endorsed the idea of elections for mayors and state governors, but did not mention a vote at presidential level. Centrist candidate Emmanuel Macron has gone through to the second round of the French election, where he will face far-right leader Marine Le Pen in a runoff on 7th May. Mr. Macron, a former banker, is seen as a political newcomer and ran without the backing of an established party. It is the first time in 6 decades that neither of France's main left-wing or right-wing parties has had a candidate in the second round. Mr. Macron won 23.8% of votes in the first round, while Ms. Le Pen took 21.5%. Their nearest challengers, centre-right François Fillon and hard-left Jean-Luc Mélenchon, fell behind with just over 19% each. In business, Presidency has set up a special account to monitor the stolen funds recovered by various government agencies to ensure they were not tampered with. Finance Minister Mrs. Femi Osinuga, who made this known while briefing newsmen at the end of the spring meeting of the World Bank (IMF) in Washington, D.C. She says the account is kept in the office of the Accountant General of the Federation. The recovered looted fund, according to her, will go into the special account after reconciliation. According to the minister, part of the recovered fund will be used to finance specific projects in the proposed 2017 budget. Finally, sport news. Enugu Rangers picked up the pieces of their stuttering season with a 3-1 win over Kano Pillars in a rescheduled MPFL match on Sunday. Chibuzo Madu, Chiamaka Madu, and Ifeanyi George scored for the Nigerian champions. Adamu Mohamed's strike for Kano Pillars represented a mere consolation. The 3-1 success over Kano Pillars have only taken Rangers points to 16, 5 less from safety. The champions still remain rooted to the bottom spot and still have rescheduled matches to play against Wiki Tourist, Sunshine Stars, Plateau United, and Gombe United. Lionel Messi scored his 500th Barcelona goal to send them to the top of La Liga with an injury time winner against 10-man Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. Messi, who scored his first with a superb jinking run and finish, fired in from the edge of the area to win it for Barcelona. That was the world news at 5, and just before we go, the major stories once again. Complaints trail allocation of shops in Ogun State shopping mall in Abeokuta. Presidency finalizes arrangement on whistleblowers to detect illicit arms. Police send bill seeking deduction from state's budget to National Assembly. Special account set up to monitor loot recovered by federal agencies. On the foreign scene, we told you that Ghana, Malawi, Kenya to receive first malaria vaccine, and Fringe Party's candidate lead in French presidential poll. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you for listening. I am Femi Osinuga. Good evening.